Hey guys, it's me, Wilson, and we're back for another video on F1 2021. We're here for round 10 of PSGL, and as you can see on your screen, we're here for Singapore. And just getting straight into it, it's a pretty stacked grid today, actually. I think this is one of the best attendances PSGL have had in a while. And so it's going to be an interesting race. It is Singapore. Haven't raced around here in a while, as I'm sure most people haven't. I think the last time we raced around here was season 28 in PSGL on PS4. So that was about a year ago nearly. Pretty much a year to now. So it's been a very long time. I've not done time trial or anything since this week of the race. And yeah, it's going to be a new experience, new track. It's nice to change it up. Usually we're just doing tracks like Austria, Britain, Belgium, tracks you do all the time. So it's getting a bit boring. So it's nice to switch it up. Nice street track. It's a bit like Monaco and Drugs, I like to think. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And heading into this race, I didn't feel too confident. Pace was good, but consistency wasn't. And 20 minutes before this race, I actually started to feel really ill. And you probably won't be able to hear it in my voice now, but I do feel a little bit ill still. So I must have I think I've got a small bug. And it's not too bad now, but it kind of kicked in 20 minutes before this race. And I felt really sick, really sick. I wasn't too sure if I would be racing. But, you know, we're here now. We are racing. So the plan is pretty much we can use 2 sets to get out of Q1 if we need to. And in Q2, we're going to get through to Q3 on the mediums or not get through at all. That was the plan. I didn't want to go through the softs as I knew how bad they are. And yeah, it was just a waste of time. But nevertheless, we move on to our final Q1 run. We actually done one run on a set of softs already, but we invalidated it and it wasn't good. And I could definitely feel myself not driving very well. I don't want to make too much excuses, but I definitely wasn't feeling ideal heading into this. But nevertheless, I'm going to take you through our lap around here on softs in Q1. Grip pretty low right now as it is Singapore, a street track, but nevertheless, going into turn 1, brake at the bridge just above you, 4th gear up to 5th, swing the car to right, swing it to left. You want to hit that curb to rotate your car. We don't really do it very nicely, but we're matching our delta coming out the first few corners. Now turn 4, this right-hander, can we do it nicely? 4th gear, hit that curb to rotate your car, opening the DRS, and now we're 15 thousandths up on our delta. Now this is the end of the sector 1 split. It is a 0.192. Not a bad sector 1 split for Q1. Through here it's a little bit safe. We can't really invalidate though, as if we do mess this up, that is us and out of Q1. To that corner, we do it very nicely, clipping that curb. Then through here, you just want to mount this curb a little bit, drag your car in. We do that very nicely. Nice minimum apex speed. Now coming up to the old Singapore sling. It's very changed now through this left. Car understeering a little bit, then through this right, taking a lot of inside curb, bouncing your car over the place. A little bit of a twitch on the exit of that left-hander. Now the hairpin. Tires are starting to scream a little bit. Up to 4th gear, opening the wheel as soon as possible. Now opening the DRS, rattling down to the end of sector 2. It's not been a great lap so far, but it's a 2.5 split through this next corner. 3rd gear, up to 4th. It's been alright through there. We're half a tenth up now, going through this last sector, into this right-left chicane. We do that very nicely, taking a lot of inside curb. We're taking it a little bit more safe now. We know we've got a 10th up on our delta. I had a feeling this would be enough to be through. A little bit of a jab at the wheel there. We're going to hit the wall there. Now we're losing a lot of time through this section. Take a lot of inside curb through here. Up to 5th, a little bit of understeer. Costs us a little bit of time. We're half a second up. Do this final corner. We missed the apex really badly. A bit of a twitch as well. And it's a 0.3, puts us P5 momentarily. But yeah, that lap, especially that last sector, was not great at all. And a few bits in the middle. But it gets us through to Q2. I think that's nearly one of the closest calls I've had in a while. But now we go to Q2 and we start our first soft run. This is an old set of soft tyres. And you're about to see what I do here. I'm moving to the right, moving to the left, trying to deliberately invalidate my lap just in case it's somehow enough to get through. I just wanted to invalidate it so, you know, yeah, just in case it is enough to get through. I don't start in, you know, 15% softs because you may as well retire at that point. But now we're starting our medium run. We're going to need to get through in these or it's going to be out of Q2 and that is the plan. I don't know what time we're looking for, but we will see. But nevertheless, going into turn 1, brake at the bridge again. 4th gear, these have a lot less grip than the soft tires, so you can see it's just a little bit more edgy on the exit of these corners. Coming out of here, no twitches on the wheels, so that's a very nice first few corners here. And then through this next right-hander, we missed apex a little bit, putting a bit too much steering lock in. We're nearly half a tenth up on our previous delta. going into the end of Sector 1 split. What's the Sector 1 split going to be? It's going to be a 0.26. That's a very good Sector 1 split for mediums, actually. Do this left-hander, we do it fairly nicely. Then through this right-hander, you just want to miss that curve. We clip it a little bit, but it's not too bad. Good minimum apex speed. Then through this left-hander, do we do it nicely? It's a little bit shabby, a bit too much correction, so not enough minimum apex speed. Not a nice line. Do this left-hander, take a lot of inside curb, and we've went very wide through there. Can we take this one nicely? I know we go deep. It's not been too great. We hit that curb in the wrong way as well. Now third gear through this hairpin. We got a little bit deep again here, and it's not been great, but we are a 10th up, and what I believe is a 34.9 lap on the soft tyre, ending the Sector 2 split now. It's a 2.7 split. Now through this right-hander, do we do it nicely? Open up the wheel as quick as we can. We're a 10th.5 up, going through this last sector now. Take a lot of inside curb to this corner. We do it fairly nicely, a little bit deep, and then taking this curb, taking all of it to drag your car in. Now through this left-hander, under the bridge, get as closest to the wall as you can. Through the right, upshifted fourth. We hit that a little bit awkwardly, but then through this next right-hander, we have a little bit of a jab, giving us a bit too much understeer. Through this next corner, coming up to the last corner now, we need to fling it in. We need to give it everything. It's a little bit wide again. It's 2 tenths up on the delta, and it's a 34.7, and it puts us P5, and at the time, I wasn't too confident that would get us through, but we will see. At the end of the day, I wasn't too bothered if I got knocked out, but as you can see, we do get knocked out. Very quick change there. We do get knocked out. We were P13, along with, I think it was Fab, Caraton, and a few others. But as I said, not the end of the world. I've not done the alt strat in ages. I think the last time I got knocked out of Q2 was last year at China. So it's been a long streak that has been ended, but I'm not bothered. It's a nice place to end it at, Singapore. We all know the alt strat can be pretty powerful here, and I don't do the alt strat often, so I think I deserve a bit of fun. And we all know how powerful the alt strat can be if you play your cards right. So hopefully we can play our cards right. It's going to be an interesting race. I think we'll do hard to medium. I was thinking there would be someone who might do hard soft, someone who will gamble. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, didn't really know how much fuel to put in the car. It's quite a big guessing game. I literally, when I say this, I pretty much done maybe 8 laps of the race, and none of them were in hards, obviously. So this is going to be interesting. I was told by somebody in my call, Louis Welch, the Padman, that the hards are awful at the start. They feel horrible, which is to be expected. I mean, it's a hard tyre on heavy fuel. They're also cold. And yeah, it's not ideal. But I think this is the lowest we've started in PSGL in a while. So I don't want to sound like an ego booster here, but it's a bit of a different place to be starting. I'm usually inside the top 10, not on the alt strat. And yeah, this will be interesting. It'll feel nice at the end of the race to have fresher tyres than everyone and overtaking them. That's the hope, at least. Hoping we don't get wing damage in lap 1. And I'm sure you all know how crucial the start of a race like Singapore can be, especially a street circuit. And it's so easy to get damage and stuff. But nevertheless, rolling up to the grid, we are one of the last people to roll up to the grid, so it's not going to be long until the lights go out now. We're going to be trying to get a good start. We have Alvaro Caraton behind us on the soft, so we're expecting him to make the jump. I was aware that this could be 3 wide with Alesso and Caraton if I get the jump on Alesso. But nevertheless, we've got 4 red lights, 5 red lights. And away we go. We get a very good launch compared to Alessio Di Capo. But Alvaro Caraton is going to get a good launch on us. And this is what I was talking about. We're going to be 3 wide going into turn 1. I'm trying to leave as much space as I can. We go off the track, trying to make sure Alvaro has enough space. Hoping he gives us room on the exit here. And we get it done. Now turning on the ERS, trying to defend from Alessio and Donoso. Down the outside, he goes on us. We're car, get a lot of understeer. We shove him out a little bit. Now we've got Donoso on our outside. Can we defend from Donoso? Going around this fast right-hander. It's flat in these F1 cars. Come out to the end of the Sector 1 split. Do this left-hander. We're going to shove him out wide. Are we going to do it? Yes, we do. We leave him a bit of space. Big snap on the exit. Then through this right-hander. We're trying to brake very late as Thomas Ronars went in the inside. Can we defend off Donoso? We have the inside line for this corner. Is he going to try to switch back? Through this left-hander, he does. We try and park it in the apex a bit, turning on the ERS, and it looks like we've defended, and we're still P13. And a pretty good start. We lost 1 position to Alvaro, which was expected, but we also gained compared to Alessio. So I think that's a very good start from us. It's better than nothing. And we move on to lap 3 now. And as you can see behind us, Alessio actually lost the ERS to us. So the pace looked very good now. And we've managed to stick with a few of the medium runners here. And this is extremely good for a race. Thomas Ronhaar, very good pace in these hards too. 9 tenths ahead, really pushing to keep up with him. We've got DRS on him, and he's also got DRS and Patrick Seapaw. So, mention again, he's a medium runner. So this is really crucial for our race. This is really helping us a lot. As you can see, the gap behind is just going to begin to form even more. And this pretty much puts me and Thomas in we're the only people really who could be fighting for a podium or a top 5 at the end here, as Alvaro is actually round at that right hand. I'm not too sure what happened there. He did start in the soft tires. I'm not too sure what happened. Maybe they overheated. Maybe he got in a collision. Maybe he just bent it in his own. But Alvaro round, and that makes our life easier. It's literally just me and Thomas Ronhaar now on the Oxstrat fighting for a top 5, I'd say. But now we move on to lap 7, and at this point, I believe Patrick Seapaw actually got wing damage. I don't think it was visible wing damage. I think it was more of the wing damage you get, but you can't see it, which is a thing before anyone questions it. I believe it was 6% wing damage he had, and you can definitely see. At the time, I thought it was just his medium tyres starting to go off, but clearly not. And if I knew he had wing damage a little bit earlier, I think I might have sent it, but I didn't want to risk too much. But now going through this right-hander, where you can see we're gaining so much in him, and it's definitely not his mediums going off, because he is so slow through these corners. Our hards are starting to come into it a little bit now. They're starting to feel a little bit better, as you can see through this left-hander. We've got a little bit more grip than the medium tire, but also he has wing damage, so it's pretty hard to tell. But I think the medium and hards will be pretty identical by now, and I think we might go for a move here, but no, it looks like we're too far back. He doesn't have DRS, and if we just got a little bit better of a run there, we might have been able to do it. But yeah, this isn't ideal for a race. We're losing a lot of time to Thomas Ronhaar in front, and that's going to hurt our chances at the end of this race, because the plan was just to sit behind Ronhaar and save ERS. And I'm sure he's grinning right now as he is just bombing away. I think the gap from me and Ronhaar went to about half a second to 2 seconds in a space of a lap. So that just shows how bad Seapaw's damage is, or how bad the game really gives you damage. I mean, you can get light green damage and lose half a second to a second a lap, so it's a bit ridiculous. But we come to the end of that lap, and the gap is 2 seconds. So we've lost a lot of time there. It's not ideal as we go very deep into turn 1. And we move on to lap 13 now, and Ronhaar, 2.1 seconds the gap is, and he actually leaves the session. I believe he lost connection to Steam, which is really unlucky for him. No fault of his own. He was driving a great race, so if you're watching this, Ronhaar, very unlucky, man. But yeah, I feel like throughout that race, Ronhaar definitely had the edge in us in Sector 1. That's where most of the time was being lost, and definitely something to work on for me. But now, if you look in the top left hand of your screen, the gap to Nico Longa, he is on 5 seconds, 4.9 to be precise. Going to this last sector, you can see how much we're gaining on him, and this is just those mediums are starting to fall off. We're gaining a lot of time this last sector, and even Jake Benham are gaining time in him. So our hard's definitely in full effect now, going through this last corner, and this is when I started to think about when I should pit. I wasn't too sure when I pit, but I know the mediums can do lots of laps, so it's not a justification of will the tyres make it to the end. It's more of what's the best lap to pit, how much time can we gain if we pit here or then, if you know what I mean. But now coming through the last sector, we're still gaining in Jake. I think we gained 2 seconds since that last 2 laps on Jake Benham, so definitely the hard's doing better. And we decide to pit, as well as Brendan Lee. He's the leader of this race. At this point, he was leading by about 5 seconds, I believe. And then we come on to strap a set of medium tyres and hopefully take these to the end. And I imagine we'll be pretty quick towards the end of this race. I've not done the Oxstrat in a while, so I was a bit worried when I saw that I was going to come out in a gaggle of cars, a big train of cars. I forgot how much of a tyre advantage you have when you do the alternate strategy. So we come out of pits, trying to get out of the pits as quick as we can. As you can see, I think that's like 5 cars or something just out ahead of us. So yeah, that's going to make life very difficult. And that's another one that is Patrick Seapaw, who actually had damage earlier. I don't know if he replaced his wing though. But yeah, that's Patrick Seapaw ahead of us. And I was a little bit worried that we were going to get held by all of these cars, but when I overtake Patrick here, I kind of reminded myself that we've got a massive tyre advantage. I'd imagine their tyres, I don't want to say a second a lap faster, but it might even be a second a lap faster at this point, to be honest, as we overtake Thomas Ronhar's AI car. Again, very unlucky for him. He would pretty much be with us by now, if not ahead of us. And yeah, pretty unlucky for him. It made our race pretty solo, if that makes sense. We're really the only medium runner, or the alternate strat runner with a chance of fighting for a podium at this point. But nevertheless, back onto the racing. Christoph, a Challengers driver, you might know him for the Challengers Drivers series. He's flashing. He doesn't really fight it. We brake late going into this right-hander and we make the move stick. And yeah, this is definitely when I realised these cars aren't going to be an issue for us. I forgot the tyre advantage we get. Next up is Louis Welsh. She actually pit 5 laps before us. He's in the same strategy than us, but he started in 19th, so he has went very aggressive. And as you can see, he's not going to defend it. His tyres are very done. And next up is Simon Pregney. He has 3 seconds of penalties. I believe he's an F2 driver. So I'm not too sure. Maybe he got the call-up for reserve, or maybe he's a full-time, I don't know. But Simon Pregney up next. I think he's in the same strategy as us, but he just pit earlier, so his tyres are more worn. Same with Louis Welch. And I had no clue these guys were in the same strategy as us. I didn't really know what they were doing. But I was just really confused how I was behind them. But clearly this shows like the difference between fresh mediums or a few lap old mediums compared to, I'd imagine they were on like 8 lap old mediums maybe. Maybe not that much, maybe 5, 6. But yeah, he doesn't really defend it, leaves the inside door open slightly. I always find it very sketchy going for a move there because you get so close to that inside wall and it's a bit frightening. But next up is Nico Longe. As I said, when we're nearly coming to pit, I think it was lap 16, he was about 5 seconds ahead of us. And we pit roughly around the same time, and this just shows the power of this strategy. Going through this next left-hander, the old Singapore sling, now new and renovated. I would be interested to see what it would be like on the F1 games, but nevertheless, through this corner, we have a little bit of a snap there actually, and Nico Longa, you can just see he's struggling a little bit more in those hards than we are on our medium tyre, and he makes it very easy for us. So if you're watching this, Nico, thank you very much for not fighting that, and then through this right-hander. Pretty easy move, as he did let us by. We do a weave. Can't get my words together right. We do a weave to say thank you, as I'd imagine there would be people who fought that, but nobody's actually fought us through the whole race, which is a first for me. Usually there's always one person who decides to fight you for some stupid reason. But next up is Jarno Watmere. I don't really need to give the man an introduction. It's a shame we couldn't have fought on the same strategy. I think we got pretty close to fighting each other in Mexico last week in the social race until something happened, I think, with his headset or something. But I've always wanted to fight Jarno on the same strategy, so it's a shame we have such a big tyre advantage. But it is what it is. As you can see, he is on the medium tyre. He actually started in the softs and is doing soft medium, which is pretty uncalled for, but he's making it work fairly well. He's in P3, but it looks like we're going to be snatching that away any moment now. You can see we're pretty much pushing him through this last sector, then through this right-hander. You can just see he's got no grip. We've got 10-lap fresher medium tyres than him at the moment, so and it's pretty noticeable. But now going through this last corner, we'll make it as dramatic as possible. Opening the DRS, putting the DRS on, we're pinging to the left-hand side of the track, now down the inside of Jarno Otmere. We make the move stick, and that's a P3 for us. And next up is Barry, but I'm not too sure if we'll be able to make that move on Barry. The gap was 2.8, it's still 2.8, and I think this is when the medium tyres kind of started to level out with the hard tyres. And yeah, it seems about right, about 10 laps-ish, 13 laps-ish. And we come across line. Brendan Lee has won the Grand Prix. Absolute dominant drive from him. Barry second, me third. It's a McLaren 2-3. Our first race is a McLaren full-time driver in PSGL. And it's nice to see my name on the third place. That's back-to-back podiums if you count the social race last week. And a very good drive for me. I'm pretty happy with that. Not done the Strat in a while. So it was nice to have a bit of a refreshment. That's probably the most overtakes I've done in a race. 10 overtakes throughout that whole race. And yeah, a bit more of an eventful race than the others have been. So I really hope you guys did enjoy this race, because it's probably more of the exciting races, and it's Singapore. Who would have guessed? I guess Singapore can actually throw up an exciting race for once. And as you can see, there's your finishing order. Jarno fourth. I believe Nico was actually fourth, but a timing glitch happened. But I think Nico might be getting a penalty due to pit lane anyway. So I think that might be correct, that standing. But yeah, Jake fifth, Danny Bresney seventh, Alessio 8th, and keep in mind Alessio and Philip were the people on our strategy as well. So that just shows how well we pulled it off. Ron Har would have been up there with us. So again, unlucky with Ron Har. And yeah, it looks like we've done a pretty good job considering Philip and Alessio were the closest people to us. And Louis Welch just missing out in points there. He started from 19th to 11th on the pad. So good job from him. But yeah, it's a McLaren 2-3. Very happy with that. Looks nice to see both the McLarens up there. And again, congratulations to Brendan Lee. We get driver of the day. But yeah, Brendan Lee, great drive from him. Really good drive. I think he said something on his Twitter. He's bringing back 2018, 2019 form, maybe 2017 as well. Or no, it was 2017, 2018. And yeah, he definitely showed that here today. He's not using his own character, which is a bit weird. But yeah, Brendan Lee, 7-second win. Very good drive from him. Exceptional drive from him, to say the least. And everyone else on the grid. But if you guys have enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. Leave a comment. Do what you want. USA is the next round. I'll be streaming practice on my Twitch, Wilson_Hughes. I'll be streaming the race on my Twitch, Wilson_Hughes, next Wednesday, 7 PM. And I'll see you guys in the next one.